What's going on, everybody? I'm back, and look, the championship is back too. So, with that being said, you know what this is. It's a Friday night Smackdown review, because I got to give you one. Because tomorrow will be the review for SummerSlam War Games, where I may or may not be reporting that CM Punk came back. Anywho, I can tell you this. I'll tell you this. From the way the crowd, this is the first thing I would say about this episode is that Chicago crowd never disappoint. And if CM Punk comes back tomorrow, oh, that roof is blowing off. Because they blew the roof, or they blew it off and destroyed it for LA Knight. In the commentary, they even made reference to the fact that they might not even make it to tomorrow to Survivor Series. They blowing the roof off this stuff already. But I'm getting ahead of myself. They started off with Team Becky, Team Charlotte. I'm going with Team Becky. Coming out as a cohesive unit. Becky even came out to Charlotte's music, and they basically they stood together, showed solidarity, and talked about how they was going to defeat Damage Control at War Games. So, as we all know with these situations, Bayley came out to throw a wrench in that plan. She came out and basically trying to throw a wrench, started getting Becky and Charlotte to go at each other. You know, to undo that what seemingly was a cohesive unit at first. This will cause I get that's actually later on. But I was almost got ahead of myself again. Bayley would say that Charlotte, I rolled a lot. You know, I know Becky a long time. We rolled a lot, and she would say, Becky, I know how I used to talk about Charlotte on those rides, but don't worry, I won't tell Charlotte. And then she'll say, Charlotte, and I know you used to love to take digs at Becky, but don't worry, I won't tell Becky. And basically insinuated that they wasn't a cohesive team, that the only real team going into this War Games match is Damage Control, and that you need to be a cohesive team to win that match. And but Becky got on the mic and said that she basically didn't come here to Chicago to talk. She came to Chicago to fight. And fight is what she wanted. And she challenged any two members of Damage Control to go in a 2-on-2 tag team match against her and Charlotte. And Charlotte for a minute looked apprehensive, but then she stood. Charlotte was like, yeah. You know, and Bayley said, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted, you stupid idiot. And that with that we accept, and we ain't gonna have to wait until War Games for your team to implode. We're gonna see that later on here tonight. And then they had a little miscue with Bayley's music where she got confused because they played her music, but then suddenly stopped it. So Bayley looked back like she thought somebody else was coming out, but then they replayed Bayley's music, and so she was like, "Oh, okay, that was just them having a miscue." So she looked back, but when they played her music again, she got back into what she was supposed to be doing per script. It was funny to me because for a second she really thought, and then I even thought like, oh, they about to have somebody come on, they played the wrong music, but then they just played Bayley's music anyway. I'm like, oh, so the mishap was them just cutting off Bayley's music like they was supposed to do something else. First match of the night went to the Judgment Day versus the Street Profits for the undisputed, unified undisputed. That's the word I was looking for. I forgot the unified part first. Unified undisputed tag team championships. Which I was surprised that this went on first. I figured this would be like second to last. Co-main event, because it'll be revealed later on that Becky it would be Becky and Charlotte versus Bayley and Asuka. More on that later, but that would be the main event. Um, and I thought this would be like the match before that, but no, they kicked off SmackDown with this match, and it was pretty good though. Solid, decent opening, solid tag team overall. I would say good match. This was a good solid match to open the show, and I love the best part was the near falls and the fact that the Street Profits actually benefited, even though they lost, they benefited from this match because it was clear to cut as day that they had the Judgment Day beat twice, and I mentioned this because of course there was near falls, but you knew they was near falls. These 2 times was significant because they were the 2 times that you knew nobody was kicking out, whether it been Damien or Finn, you knew nobody was kicking out, and that the Street Profits would have this match won as it wasn't for Rhea Ripley's interference. And that would play a pivotal, I just messed that word up. That would play a significant role in the Judgment Day. I'm laughing at myself because I couldn't say the word. My brain farted here, and so I couldn't say the word, so I had to use a different word. But she would play a significant role at helping Judgment Day get the victory. And I did love how she taunted Montez Ford while he was on the apron. It was funny because she held up her championship like, yeah, Montez, what you gonna do, huh? I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you know your title's for the women's, right? Why are you holding it up to Montez like he was supposed to be, like, going after your title? Like, it was weird. And then, like, Finn and them came over to taunt Montez. It was like, yeah, I think they was supposed to have been the ones to do that. Like, they came and taunted him with the titles and stuff. It was just weird that they had Rhea do it with her title. But it wasn't a bad thing. It made me laugh. They next had a Grayson Waller Effect promo where he will, just like he said last week, he will use his Grayson Waller Effect to bury the hatchet between somebody he's not getting along with, or at least try to bury the hatchet with Kevin Owens. But turns out it wasn't Kevin Owens. It was actually Austin Theory. And Austin Theory dressed as Kevin Owens, but not in like a fat suit with like a wig or anything like that. It was just Austin Theory in Kevin Owens' clothes, like in his shirt and his shorts that he be wearing. And he basically came out pretending to be Kevin Owens and Kevin Owens music, and then he sat down next to Grayson Waller, and it seemed like they was about to do the typical douchebaggery thing of making fun of Kevin Owens, but to subvert expectations, Kevin Owens' music hit again, and this time was the real Kevin Owens, who basically, what made this segment even better was the fact that he hijacked it from the people that was about to make fun of him. And it's like it's almost like they didn't break character or break the fourth wall, but it did get meta because they actually admitted that the whole point, like I never heard wrestlers do that, like other than like a DX type thing, but I never heard wrestlers who, like even The Miz, I never heard them do that with like they used a little TV show to when they mock their opponent, their future opponent, or somebody they don't like. They never admitted it to the person that the whole point of this was to make fun of you, and that's why I like how they did here. When Kevin Owens came out, he was like, he said, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be suspended. He said, I will suspend it, but that was lifted today, and that's why I thought you wanted me out here to extend the olive branch, and now we'll come out here and bury the hatchet, go back and eat a cheese toast, something like that. But he said, but where's this out here? He said, you're not, and also, Grayson Waller, he said, you're not supposed to be out here. This was supposed to be, it was supposed to always be Austin Theory. He said he was supposed to be out here dressed as you to make fun of you. He said, make fun of me. They was like, yeah, we was going to make fun of you. And he said, well, joke's on you, pal. I never looked better. And Austin Theory was just like Jesus, like that. He's like, he realizes Kevin Owens is taking over. So a little back and forth between the two, and Grayson Waller, and then I think at this point I had mentioned LA Knight's name twice, and he stopped them and told them like, look, you already broke the rule. You did it twice. Once with me, he said, and I'm the only one who knows how anything works around here. He said you did it once with me and not with LA Knight. And he said that they was looking at what you talking about, and he was like, you mentioned everybody knows that you mention somebody's name multiple times, that person is gonna come out. And he was like, what are you talking about? And Austin Theory, I just think he just talking about LA Knight or something. I don't know. And then on cue, LA Knight's music hit, and LA Knight come out and trash talk them and because Grayson Waller was saying he told one of the times they mentioned LA Knight was when Grayson Waller told Kevin Owens that he would 10 out of 10 times he would have beaten LA Knight last week if it wasn't for Kevin Owens somehow being on commentary. That him being on commentary was like, I guess, distracting. He pretty much couldn't hear. Like only Austin Theory could hear. That's why Austin Theory came out last week. But you wouldn't have been able to hear what he was saying, Grayson. So I don't understand what that was. But hey, that was a weird part of the segment. But then I forgot to he did say that he wanted to punch them straight in the face since they was both lined up and getting ready to make fun of him. Since they was both lined up and standing next to each other, he wanted to punch them in the face at the same time again. But then they said they wasn't going to jump him, and then that's what they mentioned LA Knight again, and he told them all that other stuff. And then LA Knight came out, tossed some trash, and basically ended up challenging both Austin Theory and Grayson Waller to a match. And then they went on commercial break, come back, and it's Kevin Owens and LA Knight versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And it was an okay, decent tag team. I wouldn't say it was as good as a Judgment Day tag team match, but it was a pretty good, decent, solid, entertaining, good match. I'm trying to think what else happened. Was there anything? No. Some sly tactics. Some sly cheating or trying to cheat anyway. But in the end, LA Knight and Kevin Owens would get the victory over Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. No, I don't think. I'm thinking they supposed to be building up to a one-on-one feud with Kevin Owens, but who knows? I just hope they're not trying to relegate LA Knight and Kevin Owens into a tag team. I really hope they're not trying to do that. Carlito will come out and cut an in-ring promo about his match tomorrow night at Survivor Series with Santos Escobar. And then he basically in Spanish told Escobar off, saying that he chose to say this in Spanish because he wanted to be perfectly clear what his point was and what he was trying to say to Santos Escobar. This would bring out Santos Escobar. I say it like that because Carlito, every time he said gets to the Escobar part, he said it with such an accent that is cool how he said it. He don't say Santos Escobar, he said Escobar. This would bring out Santos, who basically said that it was Carlito's fault for what happened to Ray, that Ray's injured and probably will never come back. He said it's all Carlito's fault because Carlito, outsider, tried to take Ray from him, and he said he was just as much family to Ray as he would, but he's saying he told Carlito that he's not family because he don't got where's his LWO tattoo, like all of them got LWO tattoos to unify them as a family, but Carlito don't have one, and then we get into a heated argument and brawl, to which it had to be broken up by Nick and the other directors. I don't think Nick was out there. Was he? No, I don't remember if Nick Aldis was out there. He could have been though. I'm gonna say he was because he was there when they gave for what happened next, or at least he was there backstage. Carlito, as they had him held off the other referees and the producers, Carlito had his hand extended out like so. With trying to, it looked like he was trying to. They tried to make it look like he was trying to push one of them back. And little did they know, Santos Escobar had came and they had him going up the ramp. He came through the crowd back onto the barricade behind them and did like a jumping knee into Carlito's arm and would continue to beat him up and do damage to the arm. They would try to brawl backstage, but he couldn't because of the pain in his arm. And then Dragon Lee would step in and run off Santos Escobar. And then it was revealed later on that night that he would not be able to compete due to his injuries that he just suffered on Santos Escobar. And that the match was going to get postponed until Dragon Lee came in and stepped up, and now it's going to be Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. He wanted to teach him a lesson for not just Carlito, but for Rey Mysterio. Then we got Pretty Deadly versus the Brawling Brutes. Nothing really too noteworthy. This was okay. This wasn't as good, but the story here was that what's going on with Rich Holland, because they only lost because Rich Holland just basically didn't want to get tagged back in and walked up the ramp. But it was a solid good match because Pete Dunne, or I forgot Pete Dunne, Butch. I should say I forgot his name. I was calling him Butch, but I was saying Pete Dunne, and then I'm like, oh wait a minute, I am saying his name, Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne almost had that match won by himself, but he would end up getting pinned, and thus Pretty Deadly got the victory with a little disco ball. And then we had a backstage promo with Charlotte. Both Charlotte and Becky get into an argument about Charlotte going to Nick to get the match made for tonight. Nick agrees, and thus, but this is how that got set up. But this still led to Becky and Charlotte arguing because Becky felt like Charlotte didn't trust her enough that she would agree to this, and that that was like kind of her job to go to Adam Pearce and Nick to get a match for tonight on Smackdown, since she's not a Smackdown superstar. But it will lead to an argument, and the two would just go their separate ways, and then until they got both a good talking to by Bianca with Becky and Charlotte with Chauncey, and I guess it did the trick because here they are for this main event. And this was a good main event between Damage Control, Bayley's, and Asuka and Becky and Charlotte, because there were little spots here and there where, and I mean little too, these wasn't like big spots, these were just little spots where they would stop for a minute to jaw jack with each other because they felt like they was getting in each other's way. But the real thing came towards the end where Becky had, I think was it Bayley? Yeah, I think it was Bayley. She basically had Bayley beat and was getting ready to pin her, or did pin her 1-2. But Charlotte would spear Asuka into the pin, thus causing enough distraction for Bayley to get the roll-up pin on Team Becky, I would say. The rest of the team came there to show their solidation with their team, and that was it. They just argued. I was about to say something else, but then I was like, oh yeah, no, that was it. They pretty much argued that while Damage Control laughed their way up the ring with their victory. I still think it's stupid that we had a match to determine who in the guys that was going to go first, who would have the advantage. but it wasn't that we had that for the guys, but we didn't have that for the girls, and that was crazy. I mean, like, why not the girls? Why not give them something like that? But I don't know. They doing this stupid Ruffles thing where Ruffles and sponsoring them and blah blah. Anywho, for this SmackDown as a go home show, I would say that this was a decent SmackDown. This was Raw was the same. They both was like decent to where like, this was actually pretty good, decent go home shows. So with that being said, I want to give them I give them a solid 7 out of 10. It was an okay show. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. But the real fun is about to begin in a couple hours. You guys let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode of Friday Night SmackDown. If you enjoyed my review, you know what to do. Hit those buttons. And always hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content, because I'm going to be posting so much content. And remember, guys, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, please. Everything helps. Everything.